year. The key question with Larry Bird, they were in a hard cap in the NBA. And when you look at this and bringing it back home, Adam Silver, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese, Breanna Stewart, who are the superstars of the WNBA, but especially for Caitlin because she has such brand marketing deals, probably averaging $30 to $50 million a year. The Bird rights gives a team an opportunity to re-sign its best player and not be restricted by the cap.
Larry Bird has never been someone who speaks unless he truly has something important to say. The three-time NBA champion, Hall of Famer, and basketball icon built his reputation with his fearless attitude, legendary performances, and quiet confidence. Known for staying away from the spotlight and rarely making public appearances, Bird has remained almost silent during today's non-stop sports debates. But everything changed just moments ago when, during a live television broadcast, he walked up to Caitlin Clark, gently took the microphone, and delivered a message that instantly stunned the basketball world. What he said left fans speechless, and Caitlin Clark's reaction made the moment even more unforgettable. Before we continue, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Nearly 83% of our viewers haven't subscribed yet, even though it's completely free and only takes a moment. If you've already subscribed, thank you for your amazing support. Now, let's get back to the story.
And put an understanding out, because with Caitlin and what the players and the collective bargaining agreement are negotiating, folks, I'm wondering if it's the best fit for the top players of the WNBA. CBA agreements, the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. They're going to have an intense meeting for All-Star Weekend. And I wanted to bring this up for Caitlin Clark and the Larry Bird rights rule. Okay? And we'll start from a revenue perspective as Caitlin leads the league in revenue. Where am I going with this? It wouldn't make sense to have a contract for Caitlin Clark.
It was one of those moments that seemed almost impossible until it happened. After leading the Indiana Fever to an exciting comeback victory with 28 points, 10 assists, and a clutch three-pointer that electrified the arena, Caitlin Clark stepped into what everyone expected would be another routine post-game interview. The reporter praised her leadership, asked about her chemistry with teammates, and everything felt completely normal. Then the atmosphere changed in an instant. A roar spread across the arena, louder than at any point during the game. Fans suddenly turned their attention toward the tunnel as Indiana basketball legend Larry Bird appeared. Known for avoiding the spotlight and rarely making public appearances, Bird walked slowly but confidently toward the broadcast table with his eyes fixed on Clark. She continued answering questions, unaware of what was happening behind her, until the interviewer stopped talking mid-sentence. The cameras pulled back, the crowd rose to its feet, and the entire arena fell into a stunned silence. When Clark finally turned around and saw Larry Bird standing just a few feet away, she froze in complete disbelief. It wasn't fear, it was pure shock. No one expected one of the greatest basketball players in history to interrupt a live interview, especially someone as private as Bird. The moment felt completely unscripted and authentic. There were no prepared remarks, no television production tricks, and no promotional angle. Bird calmly stepped forward, gently took the microphone from Clark's hand, faced the cameras, and delivered words that instantly captured everyone's attention. In his calm but powerful voice, he explained that he had been watching Clark for a long time and that she was unlike any player he had seen in years. He praised her competitiveness, her toughness, and her fearless approach to the game, adding that he hadn't witnessed a player with that kind of relentless mentality since the 1980s. He also made it clear that he could no longer stay silent while people continued to criticize and diminish everything she accomplished. For several seconds, the arena remained completely quiet as everyone absorbed what they had just heard. Then the crowd erupted with thunderous applause. Bird wasn't simply complimenting a talented rookie. He was defending her reputation, standing up for her character, and sending a message to the entire basketball world. He made it clear that Clark had earned her place and deserved to be judged by her performance rather than by endless debates surrounding her. As Bird continued speaking, Clark became overwhelmed with emotion. She covered her face, wiped tears from her eyes, and struggled to compose herself as the reality of the moment sank in. It wasn't a sign of weakness. It was the emotional weight of receiving recognition from someone who had carried the legacy of Indiana basketball for decades. For Clark, hearing those words from Larry Bird meant more than any award, trophy, or headline. Bird wasn't finished. He looked directly into the camera and said Clark didn't need anyone to protect her because she was strong enough to handle herself. What she deserved, however, was respect. He added that anyone who couldn't recognize her talent simply wasn't paying attention to the game itself. It was classic Larry Bird, straightforward, honest, and completely free of public relations language or carefully crafted talking points. He spoke exactly the way fans had always known him to speak. After returning the microphone to Clark, Bird quietly stepped back while the interviewer moved aside, realizing that nothing else needed to be said. The scene felt much bigger than basketball. It symbolized one generation passing the torch to another, with one Indiana legend publicly recognizing the next face of the sport. Clark had entered the WNBA carrying enormous expectations. Every game, every foul, every celebration, every mistake, and every comment became national news. She faced constant physical play, criticism from every direction, and endless debates about her impact on the league. Despite all of it, she continued showing up, competing, and refusing to let the pressure change who she was. Larry Bird understood that experience better than almost anyone. During his own career, he knew what it felt like to silence hostile crowds, perform under relentless pressure, and have confidence mistaken for arrogance. He recognized something familiar in Clark, a player whose only priority was winning basketball games. He didn't see someone chasing attention. He saw someone completely devoted to competing at the highest level. That's why his public support carried so much weight. It wasn't simply praise. It was a statement that Clark belonged among the game's elite competitors. At a time when many athletes carefully choose every public word, Bird spoke without filters. His endorsement immediately changed the conversation. While critics continued arguing over Clark's popularity, Bird ignored every outside narrative. Labels like overrated, privileged, arrogant, or overhyped meant nothing to him. All he cared about was whether someone could truly play basketball, and in his eyes, Clark absolutely could. His message was simple and unmistakable. Real hoopers recognize real hoopers, and Caitlin Clark had earned that respect. Within minutes, social media exploded with reactions. Clips spread rapidly across every platform as fans, former players, analysts, and basketball legends shared their thoughts. Many people described it as one of the most memorable moments in recent basketball history. Countless former NBA stars voiced their admiration, while fans celebrated Bird's willingness to publicly defend Clark. According to the story, the WNBA quickly released the complete video, allowing millions of viewers to watch the entire exchange without edits. Interest surrounding the Fever continued to grow, home games sold out, merchandise became even more popular, and excitement around Clark reached another level. More importantly, the tone of the conversation began to shift. Some of her harshest critics became noticeably quieter because Bird's words carried credibility that few people in basketball could challenge. Clark never needed to respond to the criticism herself because one of the greatest players ever had already spoken for her. His words represented decades of basketball excellence and experience. More than a viral moment, it became a powerful reminder that greatness recognizes greatness. Bird's message encouraged people to stop punishing young stars simply for being exceptional and instead allow them to develop naturally without constant negativity. Following the emotional exchange, Clark appeared noticeably more relaxed and confident. She smiled again, played with renewed freedom, and delivered another outstanding performance by scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter alone. Later, when reporters asked about the unforgettable moment, she admitted she never expected Bird's support. Fighting back tears once again, she said that if someone like Larry Bird believed she belonged, then she no longer had any reason to question herself. That statement perfectly captured how meaningful the experience had been. Clark isn't simply breaking records or attracting attention. She continues proving herself through her play while asking only to be judged fairly. The recognition she received from Bird represented far more than encouragement from a legend. It symbolized one generation placing its trust in the next. Whether remembered as a defining basketball moment or simply an unforgettable display of respect between two competitors, it showed the power of one legendary voice standing up for the future of the game. Larry Bird made it clear that Caitlin Clark deserves to be evaluated for her talent, determination, and impact on the court. And Clark continues carrying that responsibility forward every time she steps onto the hardwood. If you enjoyed this story and believe in celebrating greatness wherever it appears, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more basketball stories and unforgettable moments.